Hello and welcome to another episode of Talking Politics here at The Hindu with me, Nistula Hebbar, where we unpack the news making the headlines in domestic politics. Now, this week, the focus of our episode is not one specific thing that happened during the course of last week, but something that has been building up for many weeks and may have an impact going forward. We go to the politically crucial states of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, where the religious text Ramcharitmanas, Goswami Tulasidas' Ramayana, has become the fulcrum of efforts by some parties to redraw the Mandal Kamandal cleavage in heartland politics. This began in the 1990s, underwent a reinvention with the advent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and is again being sought to be reimagined by former Mandal parties for their advantage again. Now, as always, let us start with what exactly has happened to create this kind of a situation. Now, in early January, Bihar Education Minister Chandra Shekhar triggered a controversy after he said that the Ramcharitmanas, written by Goswami Tulsidas, spreads hatred in society. He was addressing students at the 15th convocation ceremony of the Nalanda Open University. The minister further said that the Ramcharitmanas and Manusmriti were books that divided society. Here he said, and I quote, "Why was Ramcharitmanas resisted and which part was resisted? Lower caste people were not allowed to access education, and it is said in the Ramcharitmanas that lower caste people become poisonous by getting an education, as a snake becomes poisonous after drinking milk." Manusmriti, Ramcharitmanas, bunch of thoughts by Guru Golwalkar. These books are books that spread hatred. Of course, this was, these are provocative words, and they did set off a controversy. Even earlier than this, RJD had been targeting this kind of a situation. RJD, Bihar Chief Jagdanand Singh had said of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple that is coming up on in Ayodhya, that it was coming up on the soil of hate, adding that now only the Ram of agitationists exists and not that of the poor. This is a very, very concerted effort to identify Ram Bhakts or people who may worship Ram with upper caste, and saying that in the worldview of the Ramcharitmanas, there was no space for subaltern voices. Now, while the BJP was quick to protest these remarks as an insult to Hindus and their religious sentiments, the RJD itself was tepid in its condemnation. The Janata Dal United, RJD's ally and a former ally of the BJP in the NDA, took the middle road and said, look, that is an internal matter of the RJD. We have nothing to do with it. Only Upendra Kushwaha, senior leader in the JDU, who is now openly desirous of jumping ship and joining the NDA, was loud in his condemnation of remarks. So basically, I think parties have decided to throw this little pebble in the pond and see how far it goes, whether it does redraw the Mandal Kamandal cleavage. Now, while all this was raging in Uttar Pradesh, Samajwadi Party leader Swami Prasad Maurya, now remember, Swami Prasad Maurya had defected to the SP from the BJP in the run-up to the 2022 assembly polls, stoked the fire some more. On January 22nd, barely 10 days after Chandrasekhar's remarks, Maurya called some verses of the Hindu epic Ramcharitmanas again discriminatory and disrespectful to women, Dalits, and backwards. This again elicited a tepid response from the Samajwadi Party High Command, and in fact, Mr. Maurya's words were in a way endorsed by them, as two party leaders, Richa Singh and Roli Tiwari, were suspended from the party for criticizing Maurya's remarks on the Ramcharitmanas. Now, all of a sudden, this sudden chatter around the Ramcharitmanas religious text, painting it to be the voice of upper caste Hindus and exclusionary with regard to backwards tribals, women's, and the subalterns, so to speak, has of course everything to do with the electoral support bases that have shifted since 2014. So let us again go back into history, and this time further back than we did in the past. So it all begins in the 1980s with the BJP deciding to support the movement for the construction of a grand Ram temple at Ayodhya on the site where the Babri Masjid stood. Now that declaration of support, Rath Yatras and mobilization of people saw the BJP go from 2 seats in the 1984-85 elections to 89 seats in the 1989 elections, and a further growth throughout the 1990s and so on till they became the pole party in India's party system. It also indicated the start of a Hindutva vote in Indian elections rather than just on caste lines as had been in the past. In 1990, therefore, the VP Singh government decided to implement the recommendations of the Mandal Commission report of according 27% reservations for OBCs in government jobs and educational institutions. Now, some would say that this was because of the threat of a consolidated Hindu vote, which everybody could see was consolidating in favor of the BJP because of the very emotive Ram Janmabhoomi issue. This could wipe out some of the support bases of other parties dependent on specific caste interest groups and combinations. Now the implementation of the announcement that the Mandal Commission report would be implemented, what it did was it changed the face of Indian politics. It empowered the other backward classes politically as a leading bloc in UP and Bihar, especially. And a demonstration of that fact has been that very rarely have there been upper caste chief ministers in these states since then. Parties like the Samajwadi Party and the RJD emerged. Politics was divided between Mandal parties, which looked at OBC support groups with the minority communities as a massive bloc, versus the Kamandal party, which was the BJP, which represented Hindutva, which looked at basically gaining support across the base, but was still largely driven by the upper castes. Of a larger Hindu vote perceptively led by upper caste leaders and concerns, and the OBC castes led by certain socialist parties. Now, the BJP in the 1990s was also looking at this Kamandal versus Mandal development. They knew that if they had to create a Hindu vote bank, they had to stop this parsing of the Hindu vote through caste affiliations and bring them all under one Hindutva umbrella. So they were mindful of that from the very beginning, and therefore they embarked on what was termed social engineering in the 1990s under the BJP's charismatic General Secretary K.N. Govindacharya. OBC leaders were identified and cultivated from within the BJP fold, like Kalyan Singh in Uttar Pradesh and Uma Bharti in Madhya Pradesh, both of whom were stalwarts of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, and therefore demonstrated that it was not just an upper caste concern. OBCs felt as strongly about Hindutva issues. Now, while this experiment showed it could be done, it didn't stick because, Uma Bharti was very quickly removed from the chief ministership there in Madhya Pradesh once she became, because of governance issues. And Kalyan Singh also had his own differences with the BJP. He left the fold and came back in, but he was never the same big stalwart leader that he was at the beginning of the Ram Janmabhoomi movement. Now, in all of this, SP and RJD managed to retain all the OBC support under its Mandal umbrella, along with the support of minority communities. And it was in 2014, with the advent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India's second backward class Prime Minister, that things changed. The RSS launched its outreach to Dalits and backwards in the One Village, One Temple, One Well movement. And the BJP very consciously started giving tickets, ministerships, and importance to backward class leaders, specifically spreading the narrative that parties like the SP and the RJD, far from representing OBC interests, had now been reduced to family dynastic parties, only promoting the dominant Yadav community and specifically the family members of the leaders of those parties at the cost of non-Yadav OBCs like Kurmis, Kushwahas, Mauryas, Shakyas, and others. Now, this worked a lot, especially in UP, because this was not just pure Kamandal politics or Hindutva politics, but this was a Kamandal with Mandal 2.0, which was the carving out of the non-Yadav OBCs from the Mandal front, and carving out of the non-Jatav Dalits from the Dalit communities. So this gave a massive electoral fillip to the BJP, which we see even now, especially in Uttar Pradesh. Now, the SP has tried to break this trend by poaching non-Yadav OBC leaders, including Swami Prasad Maurya, from the BJP in the last assembly polls, but it has had limited success, I believe, frankly, because of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his appeal, and the fact that he is a backward class prime minister, and he has made it a point in terms of distribution of tickets, ministerships, and important positions to appropriate non-Yadav OBC communities within the BJP fold. In the run-up to the 2024 polls, therefore, RJD and the SP know that unless OBC interests are coalesced under the same larger OBC Mandal umbrella as before, the going will be tough. The Mandal Kamandal cleavage, therefore, is being invoked again. Backwards are being told that the Hindu religious texts are not caste neutral. They enforce upper caste hegemony, electorally enforced by the BJP, while the BJP argues otherwise, that its social appeal is beyond Hindutva. It has Labhartis, it has also the empowering of non-Yadav OBC communities and non-Jatav Dalit communities. Now, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's recent speech that Pandits created a caste, here he says he didn't mean Brahmins, he meant intellectuals, and that caste was not intrinsic to Hinduism, is being seen as a reaction to all of this talk as well. A unified Hindu vote is the creation of the BJP. It is not just about the belief in the Hindu faith, but also Labhartis, and as I said earlier, the carving out of these specific backward community support bases through empowerment, especially under Prime Minister Modi. And it has seen the eclipse of Mandal politics in a way. Pejorative references to the Ramcharitmanas in the year that will see the establishment of a Ram temple in Ayodhya is an attempt to crack that vote open back into the Mandal Kamandal cleavage. Will it happen? Ram Jane. This is all I have for you this week. Thank you for watching.